Justice Society of America, issue 7, Geoff Johns writing with Marco Santucci on the art. So, I don't remember when we got the last issue of this.
I don't either, and I'm missing it because I went through my comics. I have a gap from 5 to 7 now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I'm sure I'll hunt that one back down.
Yeah, so this is... I enjoyed this issue quite a bit. I love what Johns is doing with all these characters. I think the gaps between the issues, and because the plots are a lot of different threads right now, is making it a little tough to remember what we were doing last time. But all the stuff in here is really great. The opening... well, outside of this villain they're setting up, who is branding people with a tattoo of a diamond after he grabs them for a crime.
I think isn't it supposed to be Harley Quinn's son or some? Not Harley Quinn. We ran into them in Huntresses, right?
Yeah,
it was, so just the fact that they're operating right now, I thought was interesting.
I couldn't remember the name, but yeah, they seem to be like they're branding criminals, and the idea being that if he ever encounters them breaking the law again, that he'll know they're repeat offenders because they've got this tattoo, and he'll do something more permanent.
I mean, that's what Aldo Raines did in Inglourious Bastards, right? They'll be able to hide it forever. So, but
yeah. It's hard not to be okay with it though when it's Nazis that doing it too. So the JSA along with Batman are fighting Grundy. Salem keeps saying, "I know how to deal with Grundy. This is easy peasy." Like I was with the real Dr. Fate for years, you stupid little imposter. And she goes to do a spell to deal with Grundy. And instead of sending him somewhere, she incinerates him and he burns alive until he's just a skeleton. And then when Huntress yells at her, it's like, you just fried my friend. We're trying to recruit him. Like, he's my buddy. And you just killed him. And Salem's like, it's Saturday.
That's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, he'll be born again on Monday. Easy peasy. Yeah. So I really enjoyed that scene.
Yeah, no, that was good. It was they were trying to turn him into Cyrus Gold, his human form.
Yes.
And she lights him on fire, which I'm looking at Salem the Witch Girl. I'm like, you kind of suck. Like, you're just not a good person.
Yeah, I thought the panel of Huntress yelling at her with through the mask there looked quite good. So then we go to Icicle Jr. and Belle Reeve, and terrific Power Girl and Jakeem are there trying to recruit him, and he's like, you want me to be on your good team? He's like, yeah, you've never done anything too bad. Like, you have been a bad guy, but you've never done anything as heinous as your father, and you've helped us out in the past, and it references an old issue. So this is basically obviously Huntress wanting to get her team from the future set up, which maybe won't work the way it's supposed to, right? Despite all of her best efforts. But yes, Icicle Jr. seems very, very like gun-ho about getting out of here. And he's like, yeah, I'm just dying to save the world. And he kind of winks at them. And it looks like, I don't know if we can trust you, to be honest, Cameron.
Well, and then I do like that Power Girl page is just like, you don't have to worry about any of these heating elements because I have portable ones with me at all times. I did like that.
Yeah, I got portable heat sinks, or heat lamps, I think was what she said.
Yep.
So, heat sinks. Heat sinks are the opposite. They're to cool things down.
Yeah.
Forgive me. Then we got to Jean Loring in
this
asylum.
Was weird.
This was a bit of a sidestep here. I like the scene, though. So, our young Dr. Midnight goes and is trying to interview her about Eclipso, and of course if you've read Identity Crisis and all that, you'll know all about Jean Loring, who was the Atom's wife and became susceptible to Eclipso and his control. But like, she doesn't really get very aware, but so Wildcat seems to be controlled by Eclipso right now, right? That was the implication.
That was the implication that I got from it.
Because they're talking about Eclipso taking over someone, and typically it doesn't like completely like remove who you are. It's more like all the people you hate and all of the vendettas you've got, all of a sudden you'll become...
It's amplified.
Yeah, you'll just like... Right. It sounds kind of like Angel losing his soul in the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where all the inhibitions go away, and you just do the awful things that you kind of want to, and then you turn the page, and it's this full. It's a really nice page actually of Wildcat Yolanda that is crouched on a rooftop in the rain, and her eyes are lit up. It really does give me the vibe that she's the one going after Amanda Waller, but it's just a tease. I'm a little worried that it's going to be like 2 months until issue 8, and I'm going to forget all these moments that they're setting up.
The thing with the Jean scene that I really liked is where she just goes, "I know you're there," and Dr. Midnight's like looking around, like, "Yeah, I'm right here." He's like, "No, not you, my husband. I can't see him, but I know he's there." And it's like, oh my goodness, seeding the Ray Palmer stuff again.
Oh yeah.
So
big stuff. Dr. Fate takes Salem to the Tower of Fate, and she's surprised that there's like secrets in here she doesn't know about. Again, just maybe pointing out that she's not as great as she thinks she is.
I also love the you could fix these stairways. You would know that if you were Dr. Fate, though. I just she's just a little mean girl.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But Dr. Fate's like, you know what? I'm not going to be around in the GSA because I'm just a distraction because you just hate my guts. So, I'm not going to deal with this. But then she zaps him and says she wants the helmet, and basically says "F you."
Well, he tries to take her home to Limbo World, and she's not going to go, and that's where she's absent and says that she wants the helmet. Yeah,
and she. Yeah. Disappears after he blasts her, and he takes off the helmet, and it's just kind of like, he gets like a vision that says "Save Grundy." But the end of the issue is that some characters from the Legion of Superheroes show up, although it does correct it and says the Legion of Substitute Heroes. And so we get, hold on, let me just lean in so I can read these because the text is really small. We got Animal Lad, we've got Rainbow Girl, and we've got Stone Boy. Are you familiar with these three characters, Matt?
So only Rainbow Girl, and that's because she was in the Legion of Three Worlds, or she was in one of the John's Legion books where they were hinting that she had a tie into the emotional spectrum because her colors were red, green, and blue, and she could tap into those three. And so we saw her get angry and tap into the red and all of that stuff. So the fact that she's no longer in the Legion and now she's Rainbow Girl, I think that's interesting. The Legion of Substitute Heroes are the B team, the backbench of the Legion, and they were always kind of played for jokes.
I mean, do you like seeing a lion wearing the Superman outfit? Because that's what we're seeing here.
Yeah, not bad. I like the thing on there is that he can become every animal, but he's stuck in between human and lion right now.
Yeah, right? He's a human body with a lion head.
Yeah, and so it's like Beast Boy, but if Beast Boy got stuck mid-transformation. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then Stone Boy, he can, turn his body into stone, but he's stuck in that position, right? Like a statue, which, again, these are all Legion of Substitute Hero stuff. There's always a fun little twist. I believe that's where Matter Eater Lad came from, who can just eat everything.
Sure, yeah. He sounds like a silly concept, so he probably came from this.
Yep, and he ended up making the A Squad, so... very, very interesting to pull the Legion into Justice. It makes sense because Justice Societies always seem to be about legacy. I mean, of course,
I enjoyed all the threads that he's playing with in this issue. I enjoyed the Grundy scene. I enjoyed the Jean Loring scene. I'm into what it's doing, but I am a little worried that it's all just 4 or 5 threads rather than a focused story in this issue.
Yeah.
And I'm concerned that when we come back for issue 8, it's going to have been 2 or 3 months, and I'm going to struggle to remember any of these things that were set up. So I hope I do, because I am enjoying it, and I do think it feels like typical John's just pulling out of his DC toy box and telling stories of these lesser, weirder, or C-list characters, and I'm into all that. I just hope I remember any of it come next issue.
Yeah, I will say that the Grundy stuff really hit with me because Grundy's a character that I have a weird, not an infatuation, but I like seeing Grundy in things, and so when it seems that Salem killed him, it made me sad. It made me not like her. So if that was what the intent was.
I mean, she's a little shit all issue, so I'm not. Yeah. It's definitely going for that. I think The art is solid. There's definitely some nice moments in panels when they're fighting Grundy and moments of expression. Typically, a Santucci does a good yelling face. So when Huntress is yelling at Salem or Salem's yelling at Fate later on, like those moments look really good. Heavy on the inks again here as well. But obviously, like Olaturgi Santucci. He's the next book. Yeah. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong line. Santucci, I think, is a solid artist, but I mean, obviously, Yanin was so good in that first arc that it does feel like it's a step down, and that's through no fault other than just we had someone else before. Yeah. But so it's a solid enough issue though. What were you giving JSA?
I'm gonna give this. I'll give it 7.5.
Yeah, I was thinking 7. I think it's one of those issues where there's a lot of plot threads going as we're building up to something, so it's less of a full meal of an issue, but I enjoyed pretty much everything in it. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm excited about this Legion B team at the end, but I'm curious to see what it does with it. There's so many things going on in the book, though, that even if it sticks around, it'll be like 1/5 of the next issue, probably. Yeah.